Hey everybody, my name is Ryan, the official host of Reddit Voice, and once again we're going to be looking at some of the top stories from r/MaliciousCompliance. Before we do though, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to stay up to date on all the latest videos. No problem, I'll print that video for you, and while I'm at it, I might have you fired as well. Hi all, this is my first submission to the sub and I hope you all enjoy it. There's a TLDR at the bottom. Context. This happened a few years ago. I was 18 and working as a receptionist for a community nursing service. As the youngest in the team by a long shot, the average age of an employee being around 55 to 60, I was usually the one responsible for computer stuff. Mostly just simple things, nothing a quick Google couldn't solve. The other staff members were wonderful, and I learned a lot from working with them. Except for the assistant manager, Karen. This woman was the bane of my existence. She was 75 plus, recently came out of a 15-year retirement as a receptionist, and from a 4-hour online course. She refused to use basic computer skills such as Word or email, stating that she didn't need to learn them again when she had others to do it for her, namely me. In a 5-hour shift, I would spend 3 hours just fielding her tasks. Needless to say, this came along with all the fun personality traits that make a manager from hell. Malicious compliance. At the start of my shift, I receive an email from Karen asking me to print the attached files. One was a PDF and the other was an MP4. So, assuming she just meant the PDF, I take the printed copy to her. This is roughly how the exchange went.
Why do you only have one file? I sent 2.
You want me to print an MP4?
Isn't that what I asked? A monkey could do your job, and probably better at that. Here, I'm pretty sure she laughed at her own joke.
Oh, my bad, that was their voice. Also, I don't know why she's a valley girl if she's 75, but we're gonna go with it. Desperate look? I don't think you understand.
Don't try and teach me. Don't forget I did your job for 20 years now. I could have had you fired.
Already over it and ready for some malicious compliance. Okay, well, I've never printed this type of file before, so it might take a while. Karen interrupts.
I don't care how long it takes. I'm your boss, and I've told you to do this. Once it's done, you can move on to the other jobs.
I'm grinning ear to ear at this point. I get back to my desk and send her an email summarizing our conversation and explicitly clarifying she wanted me to print an MP4, to which I got a snarky reply. Perfect. I spent the next 4 to 5 hours pausing the video every 2 to 3 frames, screenshotting it, pasting it to a Word document, and printing. The administrative task piled up. Not that Karen noticed, because she mostly spent her time reading magazines or talking on the phone. I felt bad as this placed an extra load on the other receptionists. However, since Karen was universally hated, they gave me their blessings. Once complete, I took about 100 pages carefully held with clips to her desk and sweetly told her that I had printed the other file. She looked smug until she saw what was in front of her. Page after page of almost the same picture as the man moves through the video. Some slightly blurry, all in full color. She was furious, to say the least, but I was 1 hour overtime on my shift. Karen knew that would already cause her some issues, so she let me leave, though I knew it wasn't over yet. As expected, I get called into HR for a meeting that following week, where they accused me of wasting company time and not complying with management. I explained the situation in detail and showed them the email, including her awful reply. I also showed them a few more emails and texts where Karen used some particularly descriptive words to insult our staff members, including the very HR rep talking my interview. Turns out this was the straw that broke the camel's back, as Karen had multiple reports against her from other staff members, and she had been driving HR insane with her own complaints. She lost her job the following week. The best part is that this happened on a Sunday where I got double pay. I took some of that sweet overtime cash and brought in cupcakes to work once Karen was gone. I said it was an end-of-the-week treat, but we all knew what we were celebrating. The HR rep seemed to particularly enjoy hers. Too long didn't read? Boss makes me print a video, complied, used the whole shift in overtime, got called into HR, which added to the cause against my boss. She was fired within a week. Cupcakes to celebrate. Edit. Thank you for the gold and awards. They fired me before I finished my day. I'm a nurse. I work in nursing homes, rehabs, old folks' homes, etc. I do the paperwork that's sent to Medicare. That paperwork has to be submitted in a timely manner, or the facility goes from $700 a day to $200 a day. Just tossing numbers out. Don't remember the amount. This is important in a second. I worked for a facility that I loved. The people were wonderful. It was like a huge family. The staff ate their meals with patience, the independent people visited often, and our bosses were easy to approach. Then the bosses retired at the same time. Our board then decided that maybe we would make more money if we hired a management company. All of these changes happened within a few weeks of each other. They hired a traveling nurse to head up the skilled nursing unit for a year. We didn't react well to her. She never smiled, she would just look at you if you asked a question, and she decided that new rules that didn't apply to her were needed. Shortly after her hiring, she began firing everybody. It was like a war zone had erupted on the floor. Not everybody smiled, no laughter, no visitors, no family meals, and loads of stress. I was the last one fired. Oh, I had been written up, 0 write-ups when she walked in, for things like cell phone in the floor, my pocket, drink on the desk in my office, water, and filling a certification form late. Doctor signed it the day it was due, but they photocopied it before I had left the doctor's office. So they had their 3 write-ups. At 1500 on Friday, the administrator calls me into his office. I'm informed that I've been terminated. I'm floored. I worked my ass off. I'm actually great at my job. I've been there 7 years. I'm escorted to my office to gather my stuff, and they turned off my computer, asking for my passwords, then escorted me out of the building. Here's where the malicious compliance comes in. They called me in to fire me just as I was creating the packet to send to Medicare. I was never able to send it. They never asked if things were situated since it was Friday. I volunteered no information. Remember that timely manner? Well, that Friday was the very last day to submit about 30 different forms. Most were 14-day assessments that literally covered 14 days. Billing friend called me and let me know that the default cost was over $100,000 by the time they figured everything out. Edit. The passwords they needed were system admin. I ran 2 different systems for the campus. They couldn't access either without the password. As for my other passwords, hell no. Which includes the filing one, which created a longer delay. Too long didn't read, job fires me at the wrong time, and it costs them over $100,000. Ladies and gentlemen, even though this is malicious compliance, we have a bonus video for you today. And by bonus, I just mean one extra story that's going to be a nuclear revenge to finish things off. Hope you guys enjoy it. Steal my money, take my house, put me into debt. Now it's time for me to ruin your life. My ex stole from me close to 90k euros, which I saved for up to 9 years, and when I took her to court, I lost due to lack of evidence. At that moment, I felt destroyed and lost it all. She even sued me for emotional damages, and I had to pay 55k euros, so I was forced to sell my house and take a big loan from the bank. I stayed at a friend's, and he helped me find some good lawyers. We found an amazing one. In day 1, he helped me so much that he even helped me get the info of who took my money from my bank account. Something was wrong 29th of June. A transaction happened in my name. I never made it, and I was not in the country at the time. Well, would you look at that. I was ready to get back into court when I found out that she bought my house. Well, I have a safe that I never told her about hidden in the bathroom behind the cabinet. Well, she ruined my life. Why not ruin hers? Even more. So I had an accomplice that helped me buy some illegal substances worth about 400 euros and used a friend to hide it there. The safe has a 4-digit code, and that being 0000, never got to change it to something else. And before taking her to court again, I had that same friend who hid the drugs turn her in. It took about a week for the cops to receive a mandate to search the house. They found nothing in the first 2 hours, and they wouldn't if my friend forgot to leave the safe cover open. That €400 worth of drugs are equal to a €5K fine and 12 years of prison. Well, I'm not done yet. Court time again, baby! I had my lawyer get the footage from when the money from the bank was transferred, and also I had a document showing that I was not in the country at the time. We also found out the account to which the money was sent to, the name was that of my ex. Well, look how the tables have just turned. My lawyer also demanded payment for emotional damage. All the money that was stolen, the house, and also money equivalent to 2 times the debt I had in the bank, which is equal to about €140K. The look on her face when everything came down crashing on her was totally worth it. And on top of the 12 years from drug possession, she received an additional 25 years for theft and false testimony. Enjoy it, bitch! And with that, my friends, that's all the time we have for today's video. I hoped you liked it, and if you did, you could always check out some of her other stuff. You could check out our playlist where we've got everything compiled, or you could just subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest videos. As always, this has been an absolute blast, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you